So we're in Fresno, California, and we're getting ready to take just a few shots of some plumbing we did here. It's a little remodel in the bathroom. We relocated the toilet, the shower, and a sink to another wall. And so we had to, we'll step back and take a video in a minute. We're going to take some hard measurements first so we can show you what we did. So from off of sidewall, we've measured over. You can see we're at 29 and 1/4 inches. So the dimension that is given on the plan is 27.98 inches, which technically we can go 28. And then of course the measurement is from finished tile surface. Talked to the homeowner and he's pretty confident. The tile guy quoted him 1.25 inches, so 1 1/4, which is standard with sheetrock or cement board or green board, whatever, and then 1/2 inch mortar build up and then 1/4 inch for tile. So it leaves us at 29 1/4. So that's what we talked to the homeowner about, and that's what we've got. You can see, and then of course I'm gonna give us a little bit of wiggle room, 1/4 inch one way or the other. You can see we're at maybe 29 5/16 to center. Okay, so that's good. And then the second dimension is going to be wall to wall. From here, we're going to go center of the opening, which is from that wall across to this wall. And just to get you a hard dimension, and this is all documented on his floor plan that he drew out. Hold me over there, please. And then shine the light over here. So you can see we're at 75 inches, and that's from stud to stud. So regardless of what they do with tile, and of course 1 1/4 tile, 1 1/4 tile, 1 1/4 to finished tile. And that's going to translate, there's pocket doors going in, so about the first 28 inches of the pocket door is going to be tile, and then of course the door opening is going to be over that way. So that is where the you can see our water line and the king stud and the trimmer. That is where they're going to start their pocket door over there. So 75 inches, which means to the center, we've got 37 and a half. And so you can see here, like I say, we gave ourselves, shine it over there. So there we are from wall to center. So there's our, let me see if I can get you a good picture, 37 and a half. So that's where we are to center a drain. And again, you know, we're not perfect, you know, good luck with that. But that's the drain. Now the second item we wanted to get a hard dimension on is the toilet. And so again, normally we come off the back wall 13 inches. Since we've got an additional 3/4 of tile on top of the 1/2 inch, so 1 1/4 inch, we usually go 13 inch off of face of stud, 13 to center a toilet for the rough. And since they're adding 3/4, you know, 1/2 inch sheetrock, well, let's back up. 13 is a rough, 1/2 inch for sheetrock gives you 12 and a half. Toilets are 12 inch rough end, so we got a little bit of wiggle room. Since they're adding 3/4 tile, which means a 1/2 inch mud build up and then 1/4 inch tile, we want to get it out further. So this one, it's going to be hard to kind of measure here, but that's where the flooring ends and that's the opening. You can see right here, 13 3/4 to center, and the only way that I can show you that, let me see, these are the closet bolts that are going in right here, and we got them taped up because we got putty in there. But we're at 13 3/4, so that'll sit nice. You know, once you got your tile in there, there won't be a problem with it. It'll sit far enough off the wall for that. And then, of course, the hard dimension off of the wall that they showed us, off of this wall, is 63 to center a toilet, which translates to 64 1/4 with the wall surface buildup from the tile. And then, of course, we talked to the homeowner. What they were doing is giving themselves 15 inches from glass. So the shower sits in here. About right here is going to be solid glass all the way to ceiling. And so they were 15 inches off. Well, that's code. 15, that's minimum. We like to see 16 to 18. So we talked to the homeowner and they said, yeah, give us an extra inch. That's fine. So to show you the dimension off the wall, so you can see over there on the wall. And then, of course, to center, I don't have the tape measure pulled far enough, so I'm having a hard time navigating the camera. And you can see center a dollar plug. So 65 1/4, and you can see the nut center of that, 65 1/4. So that's what we have for the toilet. So that's good. So let me get up out of the ditch. What we had to do, number one, to come in and saw cut the floor. So you can see underneath here, you got a little tunnel that goes down there. So that guy, we saw cut 2 inch, and this will, you know, when this inspector comes out, we'll pull this up and he can take a look at it. But you can see the saw cut the floor here. Go ahead and set that back down. And then, of course, we'd already hammered up some over here just to identify where the soil pipe was coming in, the existing pipe underfloor. The homeowner had this saw cut out about 8 inches out from the wall, and then about 40 inches further, he cut all this out because they're going to sink this shower down. So he needs 8 inches deep. They're going to pour another 4-inch slab and then go ahead and put their pan in, and that's between him and the tile guy. But he demoed this out while Miller's saw cutting was here. he had him just do some cuts here. We demoed it for him just because, point of courtesy, whatever. And so all the cement work was done, and we dug up, got down to the cast iron, and that's the existing line you can see down here, 3-inch cast iron. And then of course we got a transition band, goes from cast iron to plastic, and that is UPC approved. Over to a test Y, so 3-inch Y down here, and then we put another Y on top of it because we need to get a line in for the sink, and then a test plug. So this is we're going to fill water up, and as water begins to drain down this 2-inch line, the 3-inch line, this is going to keep the water from draining out to the sewer. And so 3-inch Y and a 3x2 Y, and then down here 3-inch Y for the toilet, 3-inch long sweep 90, 3-inch sanitary T, and of course that's got an arm over to the closet bend, and then of course the flange. We like to set the flange at rough concrete. Most plumbers wrap it and come back later and tie it in. We like to cement it in place. And of course we got you some nice long closet bolts around the perimeter. You can see that 3.5 inch closet bolts with some washers on the bottom, and those are mounted there, so that's good. And so flange is already set, and then 3x2 wide down here in the ditch, 2-inch long sweep 90, 2-inch sanitary T over to the shower. And of course these arms, you can go 5 feet on a 2-inch arm over to any fixture. We got a shower in this case, and you can go 6 feet on a 3-inch arm, and that includes the vertical rise from there. So you trace it center line all the way back over, and we're well within that. That's about a maybe total of 3 feet over there, and you can go 6 feet on that. So that's good. Then of course vents come up through there. Got everything wrapped for concrete to come back in. Vents come through the floor, up, tie together, well above the flood level rim, which is for this going to be a 16-inch tall bowl. So 6 inches above that is flood level 24. We got this tied together at 30, so that's fine. Then a little stud shoe there. Fresno County should be okay with that. When you dig out too much, when you drill out too much of those studs, then you need to put a stud shoe on there. Anyway, so that is good. Over at this side, we've got the double sink, and of course a little test clean out right there with a plug. And then a figure 5, 2 by inch and a half by inch and a half by inch and a half. And this is the long sweep, which is required Fresno County. Then, of course, 1.5 inch 90s stubbing out. And those are long sweep required by Fresno County. Fresno City, Clovis City, medium sweep. You don't need those long turns, but that's what they require. So that's all good. And then, of course, it vents straight up. And you can see we vent up, and we turn, and we come over into the main vent line up there, which is the 2-inch. Now, that 2-inch, we go back around here. Watch where you're stepping. You can see up there, 2-inch 90, 2-inch 45, and then it just rolls along here. A little bit of grade, not much, don't need to. It's got to be level or have fall, that's all. And so this guy right there, 2-inch over, 2-inch 90, rolls up on a street 45, and then gets up on top of these 2x6 ceiling joists, comes over, and then that's where you can see the T. So it ties in right there, comes on over to there, and you can see that 90 right there, and then it goes up to the roof. So that's our point of penetration there. That's the waste line, the drainage, the waste, the vent, all tied back in, everything roughed in where we show. The light over here, right there on the ground. That little mark right there is 15 1/4 off the wall again. So it showed 14 1/2. Let me see, 14 1/4. Can't remember what it showed. 14 3/4 is what they showed as center. And we've got it laid out there, but I think that's supposed to be from sheetrock. Doesn't matter because honestly, we're not center on these drains anyways. The reason why we don't typically put it center of drain, a lot of times you get a sink that has the drain is at the very far back of the vessel, and you can't get a trap on, and there's nothing you can do because you're in line. So we usually offset these by at least 3 inches. Same thing with the water, so it's not sitting underneath the center. So those are all tied in and good. Hot and cold water, point of connections, cold was already all repiped. Don't step off that. Already all repiped at one point, and you can see back in there, that blue line right there, that portion was existing. It went to the old sink. All we did was tied into it up here. See if I can flip it up without turning my camera upside down. And almost, there it is. So that's the T that we tied in. So going back behind the camera, that's existing pipe. New pipe is ours, which is sitting right there. Get it back over here and get a light. So that blue line that's going up and back down, that's ours. And then of course the red line. The copper's tied in right here. That's the old copper line that goes for the hot side, and you can see we've got a piece of 3/4 tying in there, and clear. And then we go to a 3/4 by half T, which in that 1/2 inch line goes down to the shower, and we'll take a picture of that in a minute. Up here we got the 1/2 inch hot to the sink going up and down, and then stubbing out right here, a little brass drop ear 90 and a brass nipple, and then of course some shutoff valves on there. And so the cold, same thing, you know, it follows down here. And of course brass stub out and brass shut off. These are brass craft 1/2 inch IPS by 3/8 OD. And then it follows along down here. You can see hot and cold up there, kind of follow over back in down and loop down, strapping in here. We just strapped you know, one against each side, kept it far enough back so they don't inadvertently put a nail through that piping. And then of course comes down here, and again brass nipples and shut off valves. So everything has been on. The water's been on for the last couple days, and there's no hint of moisture anywhere. And so we'd like to see it stay that way. You know, if you decide to pull these out of the wall for whatever reason at finish, then you know it's hard to tell. You know, once you put something back in there, if it's dripping inside the wall, you know, and that's after sheetrock and cabinets are in, and then you're going in here and you decide, they're too long or whatever, and you want to shorten them up. Once you pull those out, then you got to make sure that you get them snugged up enough to where they don't drip, or not too tight to where you split that brass 90. So over here on this side, so that is both sinks. We got the toilet water coming down. We had to get creative over here. Reason we like to stub out with the brass dog ear 90s and the drop ear 90s, and this we couldn't get a block in there to mount it. So we just went over to Ferguson and got copper hold right, and then a copper bullet, which has the Uponor stub on one side so we can get the plastic tied in, and then just ran that guy up the wall. And again, you can see the plastic that takes off and heads back into the attic, that's existing. So the cold was repiped. The hot was repiped in copper, and the cold was repiped with Uponor tubing. And so heading back to the attic, that's theirs. You can see there's a 90 up there. That's our 90 and our drop. So that's our pipe. Same thing up here to the shower. That pipe that goes back into the attic, that is their pipe. And so that's our 90 and our drop comes down, ties in. This is American Standard. I think it's R118 SS, maybe. I'm not real sure. The homeowner spec'd it out. They had the cheaper valve with didn't have the integrated stop, so we upgraded them so you could work on this anytime just by shutting off these integral stops that are in the wall, which sit right back in there. You can see there's a little stop. You just turn it and you're done. So cold's tied in. We had some blue tubing, so that's not just cold water going up to the shower head, but it is hot and cold mix. So that goes up. We moved that up for the homeowner to 7 feet. And we're not going to measure that. I'm having a hard time navigating the tape measure and taking a video at the same time and talking. Cold or hot water's coming in. Same thing on this. This is all our new pipe from point of connection. That hot line right there goes up the wall, comes in, and then follows this down right here. So you're on the side of the ceiling joist. It goes over there and ties into the hot line, and that's where the copper begins. So we got a copper adapter soldered on, and then a Uponor, the copper, then the Uponor adapter, and then Uponor piping. So that's the hot. And so we already showed you that over there. We showed you the cold. Everything's good here. What we're going to do now is we're going to fill up the sewer lines with water to see if it holds. Hopefully it will. Any trouble, we'll have to do something different. Everything's capped off and ready to go. There was one thing that I wanted to do, and I forgot what it is. It'll come back to me in a minute. But outside of that, this installation is done.